Until tomorrow.
Hi, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. We are engaged in a debate about the behavior of grandchildren. We'll continue that later on. In the meantime, we pause and welcome in Shabbat. Hine matovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov. Shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov. Shevet achim gam yachad. Page 13, we welcome in the angels of Shabbat with Shalom Aleichem. Page 13. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharei, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malachei ha-malachim hakadosh baruch hu. Boachem l'shalom, malachei ha-shalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei ha-malachim hakadosh baruch hu. Archuni l'shalom, malachei ha-shalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei ha-malachim hakadosh baruch hu. Seichem l'shalom, malachei ha-shalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei ha-malachim hakadosh baruch hu. Page 15, Lechuna Ranina. Lechuna Ranina, Lechuna Ranina, Lechuna Ranina, Ladonai. Lechuna Ranina, Lechuna Ranina, Lechuna Ranina, Ladonai. Naria, Naria, Litzur Yeshenu, Kadma Panah B'todah. Naria, Naria, Litzur Yeshenu, Bizmi wrote Naria lo. Lechuna Ranina, Lechuna Ranina, Lechuna Ranina, Ladonai. Lechuna Ranina, Lechuna Ranina, Lechuna Ranina, Ladonai. Let's do the English on page 15 responsively. Let us sing to Adonai, let us rejoice in our Creator. Let us greet God with thanksgiving, singing psalms of praise.
Adonai is the foundation of all life, also beyond all illusion.
In God's hand rests the world he fashioned, sea and land, abyss and mountain peak, all are God's.
Let us worship Adonai, because our Creator, our God.
Harden not your heart in the way of your ancestors who tried and tested me in the wilderness, even though they had witnessed my miracles.
40 years of continuing that generation, led me to prevail. They are wayward, they cannot hold my way.
In indignation, therefore, did I vow, never, never would they reach my land, the land of rest, the land of peace. Arbim shanadakut the door, v'amer am toel levhem, v'hem lo yadu derachai, asher nishbati be'afi, im yavon el menupati. Page number 20, Havul Adonai. Mizmor leDavid, Havul Adonai b'nei Elim, Havul Adonai, Kavod Baoz, Havul Adonai, Kavod Shemo, Ishtachavu Adonai behar Kodesh. Kol Adonai alamayim, El hakavod hirim, Adonai almayim rabim. Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, V'shaver Adonai et harze al banom. Vayar kidem kemo egel, Lebanon b'sir yom kemo ben re'emim. Adonai, Hosef Lavodesh, Kol Adonai, Yachil Midbar, Yachil Adonai, Midbar Kadesh, Kol Adonai, Yachole Ayalot, V'yechesof Yarot, Uvachilo Kulo, Omer Kavod, Adonai Lamavu Yah, Shavayeshev Adonai, Melech Leolam, Adonai Os Leamo Yiten, Adonai Yivarech et Amo Bashalom. You know, I've talked about my retirement plan to do that bed and breakfast at the foot of the mountains at Spot. And Judy is practicing for that right now. She's been at home baking all day for tomorrow's kiddush lunch. Join us tomorrow. I think you'll enjoy it. I've been working hard at quality control, auditing all that she's been preparing. As whatever is necessary, be it tasting, be it doing dishes, be it drying dishes. So far, my biggest complaint was more chocolate chips. But my friends, we turn to page 21, L'cha Dodi. L'cha Dodi Likrad Kala P'nei Shabbat Nekabila. L'cha Dodi Likrad Kala P'nei Shabbat Nekabila. Shamor V'Zachor B'Dibur Echad. Ishmi Anu Elham Yufat. Adonai Echad Ushmo Echad. L'Shem Ultiferet B'Li Kila. L'cha Dodi Likra Kala. P'nei Shabbat Nekabela. Likrat Shabbat L'Chu V'Nilcha. Ki Me'or HaBraka. Merosh Mikedem Nesucha. Sof Maaseh B'Machshava Tehillah. L'cha Dodi Likrat Kala. P'nei Shabbat Nekabela. We turn to page 22 and rise and face the back of the room. We recite the last paragraph. Boyi v'shalom ateret bala, gam v'simcha usohola, tov emunei am segula. Boyi kala, l'cha dodi likrat kala, p'nei Shabbat nekabela. Be seated. We say to those who are in mourning, those observing a yard site, Hamakum, Inachem, Ephem, Tov Shar V'Lesium Yerushalayim. May the Holy One, blessed be He, comfort you amidst all the other mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. Page 23, we read in the Hebrew. Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat, Tov L'Odot L'Adonai, L'Zamer L'Simcha HaYon, L'Hagid B'Boker Chastecha, V'Manatcha B'Leilot. A song for Shabbat. It is good to acclaim Adonai, to sing your praise, exalted God, to affirm your love each morning, your faithfulness each night, the music of the lute and the melody of the harp. Your works, Adonai, make me glad. I sing of joy of your creation. The thoughtless cannot comprehend, the foolish cannot fathom this. Your enemies, Adonai, your enemies shall perish, all the wicked shall crumble. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree, they shall grow tall like a cedar in Lebanon, planted in the house of Adonai, they will thrive in the courts of our God. Odinov Nesheva, Deshinim Ranim Yehu, L'Hagar Adonai, Suri, V'lo Avlah Taboho. On page number 28, we rise for the Baruch Hu, the call to worship. Baruch Hu et Adonai, Hamevorach. Baruch HaMevorach, Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro ma'ariv ha'ravi. Praised are you, our Adonai, our God, who rules the universe. Your word brings the evening dusk. You open with wisdom the gates of dawn, design the day with wondrous skill, set out the succession of seasons, and arrange the stars in the sky according to your will. On the nights of out, you create day and night, rolling away the light from darkness and darkness away from light. Eternal God, your sovereignty shall forever embrace us. Praise to you, Adonai, for each evening's dusk. Sing together on page 29, the blessing before the Shema. Avat olam Beit Yisrael, am ha'hafta, Torah u'mitzvot, hukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadata. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, v'shofenu u'v'kumeinu, nasiach v'chukecha, v'nismach v'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha, Leolam Vaed, Ihem Chayenu, Ve'orech Yamenu, Uvahem Nege Yaman Valayla, Va'avatachas Hermimenu Leolamim, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. We turn to page 30, we cover our eyes and recite together. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, v'chol levavcha, v'chol nafshecha, v'chol meodecha, v'hayu advarim ha'eleh, asher anochi metzavecha, hayom alevavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibartam. V'shivtecha b'veitecha, u'dlektecha v'derech, u'shaktecha v'kumecha, u'shartam liot al yadecha, v'yulatotafot b'neinecha, u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, u'vishareh. Phil, can you read the English for us on page number 30, please?
You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And these words which I command you this day, you shall take to heart. Teach them diligently to your children, and recite them at home and away, night and day. Bind them as a sign upon your hands, and as a reminder above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates.
We continue silently to the middle of page 31. Leman tiskeru v'asitem ekol mitzvotai v'atem kadoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti echem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem leElohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem. Amen. Continue the middle of page 32. Malchutil baratzon kiblu alehem. Moshe, Miriam, Uvnei Yisrael, upon Asher Simcha Rabbah, V'amru Kulam, Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha Nedar B'Kodesh, Norati Lo Tosef Eleh, Malchutacha Ruvanecha, V'kam V'nei Moshe, Ze'eli Anu V'amru, Adonai Yimloch Le'olam Va'ed, V'ne'emar ki pada Adonai et Yaakov, u'v'lo hazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Al Yisrael. Thus it is written, Adonai has rescued Japheth, God redeemed him from those more powerful. Praise to you, Adonai, Redeemer of the people of Israel. Page 33, our prayer for both peace and for a good night's rest. Ashkivenu Adonai Lahinu L'Shalom, Amidenu Malkinu L'Chaim, V'proselenu Sukat Shlomecha, Takninu Be'etzatovim L'Chanecha, V'usheinu L'man Shemecha. Join me in the English. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace and awaken us again, our sovereign to life. Spread over us the shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us. Our gracious and merciful ruler, guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace, now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praise to you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over his people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Age 34. Chetzi Kaddish before Amidah. Ikadal v'ikadash shemei rabah. Yamad yibrak yirutev yamlik malchutei. V'chaye konu v'yomei chon. Uchaye d'chol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala. Uvizman karib. Imaru. Yehi shmei rabah mevora. V'olam v'olmei maya. Yiparak, Ishtabach, Yipar, Vitraman, Yitnase, Yitadar, Vitalev, Yitalal, Shmedikudisha, Layla, Mikober Kata, Vishirata, Tushbekata, Venechemata, Damiram Dilma, Bimaru. Amen. Salan Amidah, pages 35b through 38, I believe. Age 48, Kaddish Shalem. Yikadav Yikadashame Rabah, Yamadi Rakirutev Yamek Mafute, Bakayakona Gomekon, Kadafol Beit Yisrael, Bagalev Zmankari Bimru, Amen. Yeheshme Rabah Mavora, Yolam Yom Meomaya, Yitba. Yabrak Ishtabaki Parvachman Yitnase, Vitadar, Vitalev Vitalov Shmeda Kudisha, Layla Mikober Kata Vishirata, Ushbakata Vinakamata, Damiran Bilma Vimru, Amen. Yikabel Solofon Abadopon, the Posho Kadamabahum Dishmaya Vimru. Amen. Yeshlam Ram Shemaya, Hamlin of Alko Yisrael Vimru. Amen. Oseh Shalom Ramah, Yaseh Shalom. Alin of Alko Yisrael Vimru. Amen. We rise on page 49 for Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'lo ratzon hinkilanu, zikaron l'maaseh bereshit, v'kuyam tefillah v'mikrei kodesh, zefer litziat mitzrayim. Banu Bakarta, Tanu Kidashta, Mikol Hamin, Shabbat Kochaka, Yahaba Ubranso, Mikatanu, Baruch Atadai, Mikadesh HaShabbat. Fine. It is that time of year where we count the Omer. It is on page 55. Last night we had the 15th day. So we say, Hineni Mukhan Umezuman HaYam Mitzvat Aseh Shel Sifrat Omer. I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. That it is ordained in the Torah, you shall count from the eve of the second day of Pesach, when an Omer of grain is to be brought as an offering 7 complete weeks. The day after the 7th week of your counting shall make 50 days. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav etzivanu al sefriyat ha'omer. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, who rules the universe, instilling us the holiness of mitzvot by commanding us to count the Omer. HaYam Shisha Asar Yom Shehem Sheni Shavuot Sheni Ushnei Yamim LaOmer. Today is the 16th day of the Omer. These are 2 weeks and 2 days of the Omer. Huh. Yeah, I was thinking about what to talk about. And I had such a variety of topics. I was thinking about, first of all, this week's Torah portion, talking about skin diseases and leprosy and emissions, and we'll save that for tomorrow. Okay? Yeah, Ron, to your point, I'm married to a labor and delivery nurse. Some of our dinner conversations, she's also a lactation educator. I learned more about that topic than I ever wanted to know. I thought about our current American scene. What would have been one of the more interesting news stories this week? Yeah.
Dave,
What?
Dave,
Nah. I was thinking of the president healing people.
you mean Jesus?
We're going to talk about that tomorrow, actually. Okay, that one fascinated me. So when everything was said and done, I kind of narrowed it down. Monday is a holiday observance in Israel. Yom HaZikaron, Memorial Day. And what's what's interesting, in America, how do we observe Memorial Day?
No work.
Barbecue, what did you say?
No working.
Day off, it's a
Flag
holiday. Barbecue is day off.
Flag up.
With the flag. That's gone out of style, but I'd like to see more people do it. I agree with you.
Also, go to the cemetery.
Also, it's gotten out of style, but it's something that should be done. Did you say
Stores and at the department sales.
Sales, that's right. That the beginning of the summer season sale. How many more pairs of shorts do I need from Costco, But Memorial Day, as it's observed in Israel, is a very, very somber affair. It begins with the sounding of the siren and everybody coming to a halt. And what's interesting, Israel's, first of all, it's a small country, as we know. So you're never that many degrees of separation removed from anybody. Chances are, even if you lived in Haifa and there was a story about somebody in Beersheba, you probably knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody. It's not that many degrees of separation. Um, and with the universal draft, in Israel, you got to remember, if you're a boy coming out of high school, your future's set for the next 3 years. You're going in the army, or actually better, you're going to do national service. And if you're a woman, 2 years of active duty. Okay, everybody serves. And one thing that hits me as an American when I'm there, every family is touched on Memorial Day. There is somebody in the family, either A, on active duty, B, in the reserve still, C, that they've, God forbid, lost somebody in battle, or somebody's been grievously wounded. One of the things that doesn't get a lot of notice, people fall in battle, we get that, but when you're in the Army, all kinds, in industry we call them industrial accidents, right? Anybody here ever work in a restaurant? Just me? Okay. How many times did you see people cut their fingers? It happens, right? In the Army, it gets worse than that because you have young men around really heavy equipment with automatic weapons and sharp knives and explosives. And there's training, and things get mishandled. You discover, oh, he was jumping out of the helicopter. He thought it was 3 feet. It was actually 10 feet. Things like that happen. Memorial Day in Israel is a very, very somber affair. Over the course of the day, the music and the radio stations play all kinds of, they call them, Judy calls them Shirim Yashanim, the old songs. The songs from the 50s, the 60s, even into the 70s. We would call it classic rock, but they would call it classic Israeli songs. Yoram Gaon suddenly gets a lot of airtime, which it didn't used to have. And people pause and remember. At sundown on Yom HaZikaron, the country goes bonkers. Because as somber as Yom HaZikaron is, Yom HaAtzmaut, Independence Day, is a grand party. I have a memory of walking the streets of Jerusalem, and it seems like every young boy between the ages of 9 and 13 is issued, remember silly string?
Yeah.
They're issued a can of silly string and a can of shaving cream, and they spray everybody walking by. I have been advised, after sundown, don't wear anything you care about. After about 10 minutes, I understood why. The fireworks, the noise. The next day, I'm walking through a park, and every couple of feet, people are picnicking. They kept getting stopped. Hey, I told Tomash, hey, you want to try something, buddy? Hey, hey, brother, you want to try something? They offered me like tabbouleh. They said, that's pretty good. They said, how good? Do you like it? I said, it's good. Not as good as my wife's, but it's pretty good. Then they say, you think your wife makes better? I said, you guys should try it tomorrow morning. You can make the tabbouleh, and somebody can do the best in the world. It is. Very, very friendly. So it's Israel's birthday. So my topic for a few moments here is, what would we wish for Israel on her birthday? Peace. Okay. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Get rid of that law.
Okay, so two things there. So one, get rid of the enemies.
Yeah.
Get rid of the enemies, and then no more war. It's interesting. I didn't grow up with World War II, but I grew up. Mark, did you watch Combat growing up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, no, you're not helpful, Mark. Thanks a lot.
Young.
With Dick Morrow.
Yeah, Mark's too young.
Same age as me. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he was close to it.
I'm flabbergasted, but okay. We didn't grow up necessarily hating the Germans, hating the Japanese. The war ended. I didn't have that sense of hate. And I think it's one of the hardest things to overcome.
Some
Is
people-
that sense of
people do.
I agree with you to this extent, Phil. American TV programs, okay, if I say to the room here, December 7th, what happened on December 7th? Everybody got that one right. Mark, you weren't born then, but you got it right, okay? But if I say that to a group of high schoolers, there's a 50-50 shot that they may or may not know what I'm referring to. And then TV programming into the 70s, you're selling your commercial airtime, right? No, he didn't. Who TV stations on December 7th wouldn't sell airtime to? Honda, Kawasaki. He wouldn't sell Japanese products on December 7th. There was a sensitivity to that. And I would say that in 2026, we don't have that anymore. But it's in the 1970s, there was a sensitivity that you're not going to sell the Japanese products as a sponsor today. And it was just generally accepted. So to your point about, getting rid of enemies and no more war, I think the biggest thing to overcome is the sense of hate and enemy. Ron, by that I mean to not look at the people of Ramallah as the enemy. And that would take longer to overcome. So peace, I think, can be signed, but to convert to that is a harder thing. Have you ever had an argument with your spouse? You no help? Okay.
Oh, come on.
I'll make it an I statement. I'll make it an I statement. I'm sorry?
That would be very boring.
You're absolutely correct about that, Brenda, but I'll put it this way. I'm married to an Israeli American with access to sharp knives. There are days I think that arguments are recreational, that Israelis argue recreationally. But after Judy and I have a fight, I will admit for the next day or so, I'm a little gun shy around her. I don't want to start the whole thing over again. And I think that's what I mean when I say, like, it takes a while to get into peace. Like, you know that you're at peace, but you don't feel connected in that regard. I think that takes a little bit
How to
longer.
get rid of that stigma that you're in.
Absolutely. I think that's the hard. I think that will ultimately be the hardest thing. So it's kind of interesting. If you cross from Israel into one of the Palestinian administered territories, or like I had to go into Jordan to go to Petra, people love you. Oh, you're a Jew, you're an American, thank you for coming. Buy something in my restaurant. Yeah, of course, it's interesting. It's an interesting thing, but I think that'll take a little while to get there. What else do I wish for Israel on her birthday? It's interesting. They're in the Siddur. I don't think it's in ours per se, but in some Siddurs they have a special service for Independence Day, for the observance. There are certain songs that certainly apply, so they do that. I think for me, the thing I would wish for Israel is economic prosperity.
They really got to have that, but if they didn't have the threat of war hanging over their heads, then I think they would really prosper.
I think that you're right, because all that energy and resource that's going into national defense could be channeled into education, for example, or building. I think that what they've accomplished with what they've had to live under is amazing.
Technology's second to none. I mean, really.
Argument, it's true. I would be, yeah, repeat. Oh, okay. I think when I see the news about Israel and Lebanon engaging in talks, it is, and I hope it progresses, because I keep thinking that between Tel Aviv and Beirut, what an economic axis that can be. Between Israeli technology and Arab petroleum money investment, There's so much to be gained. I would look forward to that. There's lots of labor. There's all kinds of things that to me that become possible. I wish economic prosperity. I would also wish for the people of Israel unity. One of the challenges in Israel is that you have, we talked about this a little bit, you have three separate groups. You have mainstream Israel, you have the ultra-Orthodox, and then you have the Arab community. 20% of Israeli citizens identify as Arab. They feel somewhat removed from society. I'd like to see that be more integrated. In times gone by, you had a big gulf between Sephardic and Ashkenaz. It's not as big as it once was, but it's still there. And these are the things that I would wish for Israel in the future. Last question on Israel. If you've been there, what's the best thing about being in Israel? Want to go for shawarma?
Family.
Family is very cool too. We're going to come back to shawarma. Family is very cool. It's always intriguing to see another branch of the family, another branch of friends, but you begin to realize that they're living a much different life than we are today. So that's kind of fascinating. What would you, best thing about Israel?
I haven't been.
Okay. Brenda?
What's the best thing about Israel? What's the best thing about the food?
Oh, you and Ron both agree. Okay. Mark?
Is home.
I agree. There is that weird feeling of being home.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not fluent in the language. I'm a long way from home, but there is something about being there. It feels like home. The food. All right, I'll leave you with a food story. Okay, in 1986, before you were born, Mark, 1986. Yeah, I was a volunteer in the IDF, and I grew up here in Los Angeles, very, very Ashkenaz. So the first thing you discover is that Israeli Hebrew slang is not what they teach us in school. So the first word I discovered was vuz. If you're an Ashkenaz, the Sephardic call you a vuz. Why vuz? Because they heard the Ashkenazim speaking Yiddish and saying vos. Vuz. But to the Sephardic here, that becomes vuz. The one day, the unit was all Sephardic guys. These guys from Iraq and Yemen. And they say to me, don't go to the Cheder Ochel, don't go to the mess hall. Stay here, we're having lunch. But what are we having? Couscous. All right. Everybody knows what couscous is? I did not at that moment. It sounded like something you would do on the second date. Okay? But deliciousness. It was a discovery. The other big discovery I had that first time I was there, hot dogs. Who knows how to say hot dog in Hebrew?
There.
They exist. Not Nikiot. Say that 5 times really fast. I'm with you guys. The food is special. I like it an awful lot. That strange blend of European and Middle Eastern. It is out and out deliciousness.
Also the way, when you go to the country, their produce is humongous. Absolutely humongous.
The a little different on that theme. What hits me is that it's so much fresher.
Big.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
That teeth and tail getting stuff from the farm to the market is a very short trip.
I mean, you get a cantaloupe, it's like this. It's not like this.
What am I going to do with the cantaloupe then?
Eat it.
Share with some friends.
But I just, everything is out in the open. I mean, it's beautiful.
It is beautiful. Oh, speaking of beautiful, Marcus Judy on? For me, the greatest treasure of Israel, the girls.
I'm not about to say that.
Israeli girls are indeed special, and I took one home with me. She should have been on to hear that, right? Announcements? I got it. To Israel, we say Yom Huledet Sameach, happy birthday.
Yes. And many more.
Welcome to Shabbat services led by Rabbi Ron. Upcoming services, tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, live and live streamed right here. Saturday, May 1st, 7:30 in the evening on Friday. And on May 2nd, 10 a.m. right here live and live streamed. Musar classes with Fran on April 23rd and the 30th. This Sunday is our congregational board meeting at 11 o'clock and our ritual meeting at 10 a.m. If you need the link, please get in touch with Brenda and she will get it out to you. Do not forget our ongoing fundraiser of gift cards. Easy to order them on the website. There's a whole variety of them there. Check them out. If you need them, please contact the flyer. Please contact Brenda and she will get them out to you. We remember the following blessed memory. We call these your sites. Lois Ludman, mother of Barbara Miner and Ronnie Sanlow. Regina Margolis, mother-in-law of Judy Margolis. Irvin Klein, father of Judy Leventhal, Zikrona Lipacha. May Schoenfield, mother-in-law of Louis Ludman, Zikrona Lipacha. Louis Fennick, father-in-law of Elaine Hanek. Thank you. May their memories be for a blessing, Zikronam Lipacha. All those who are in mourning, all those observing yard site, please join me for the Mourner's Kaddish on page 52. Yit Gadal, the Yit Gadash, Shemei Rabbah, Yomah, Dibrach, Yeruteh, Yamlich, Malchuteh, V'chayekon, V'gomekon, V'chayed, V'chol Beit Yisrael, V'agalah, V'zman Kariv, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach, Le'olam, Ulmei, Omaya. Yitbarach, V'ishtabach, V'pa'ar, V'tuman, V'itnaseh, Yitadar, V'toleh, V'tolal, Shmei Dekudishah, Ve'ela min kol berkata v'shirata, dushbachata v'nechamata, domiranbiom de'alma v'imru. Nehei shlomo rabba min shemaya, v'chayim olenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'ramav, v'yaseh shalom, olenu v'al kol Yisrael, v'kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. We're going to conclude with Israel's birthday with singing Hatikva. It's on page 395 if you need the words, 395. Olod v'aleva p'nima nefesh Yehudi homiya v'pate mizrach kadima Ayin Letzion Sophia, Od Lo Avda Tikvatenu, Ati Tikva Bashnot Alpayim, Lihiotam Chofshi, Be'artzenu, Eretz Zion, Yerushalayim. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you.